Welcome to Mortgage Lending Mastery, the world's longest running podcast in the mortgage industry. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, with over 4 decades of mortgage, real estate, and financial services experience, providing the knowledge you need to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently. Awesome. Okay, so here we are. Welcome back to Mortgage Lending Mastery. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis. I am delighted today to have with me Randy, and I can't pronounce your last name, so I'm going to let you pronounce it.
Fiocchi.
Fiocchi.
Yep.
Fiocchi. Randy has been in the mortgage business for 24 years. I think that's awesome. And you're doing both residential and commercial. So I want to talk a little bit about that because I did commercial when I was a licensed loan officer as well. But maybe your definition is different than my definition. So I want to make sure we're doing that. But you've developed a deep understanding of both real estate and finance. I always want to challenge people when they do. I go, let's see if I can run the numbers faster than you without a calculator. I mean, without a computer, right? Because I can run numbers. We used to do truth in lending and APRs on a calculator. Back in the day when I first started in this business. And we would say, doing an APR, we yell it, and meaning don't bother me because I'm doing an APR, running an APR. And back then we had JIPM mortgages, GEM mortgages, regular adjustables. So we had a lot of, moving parts. It was so funny. I love it. But, so you're a great seasoned loan officer and we're here to pick your brain. That's what we're here to do today. One of the things I want to start off with right away. So welcome to the show. But one of the things I want to start off right away is the achievements that you had beyond your life, your professional life. And I think this is really cool. And I hope it's on your business card, digital or not, that you have the logo for being an Eagle Scout, because I think that's a game changer right there. It's just a conversation starter. People are thinking, oh, he's honest, he's committed, he's got all these wonderful things, right? So hopefully you're doing that. But you became one of the youngest in history, right? Eagle Scouts in history. My husband's an Eagle Scout, so I understand the importance of this.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and he became an Eagle. We're high school sweethearts. So he became an Eagle Scout while we were in high school. So I was there for it. And you were an athlete in college, as was I. So I want to talk about how that affects you as a loan officer, because that is a differentiator that moves you from a commodity into, an elite status if you're sharing it. But how has that affected you as a loan officer? What are some of the characteristics that you brought to your practice as a result of those activities?
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's really interesting you brought that up. And I need to bring that forward more often. I made Eagle Scout at 14 years old.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things my dad did is get me into scouting. And I would say that just the dedication and being goal oriented and just sticking with it, that's the thing that I learned the most in scouting. Just how to be a good person, how to share, how to care about others, and how to just see a goal and obtain it. And I just love scouting. I had family members that were Eagles, and I always thought that, wow, it's something I want to do. And a lot of life to me is just sticking with it. And it became one of the more important things in my life. And I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get all the achievements done early. And it just became a big part of my life. And I enjoyed the camping and the camaraderie, but it really taught me how to be independent and just think of others and be self-sufficient. And similar to you mentioned college athlete, yeah, that's a whole new level. It's the dedication, the practice, getting up early, sometimes
Focus, intention, right?
you have to stick with it.
Yeah.
And you have to be dedicated. You have to sort of play through the suck.
Mm-hmm.
Often, you don't want to get up. You don't want to go through the motions. You don't want to do the things you need to do. And if you want to play at a high level, you're going to have to fight through those things. And it really meant a lot to me to be able to be a part of a team and just stay focused, even when things didn't look good. or I didn't
Yeah.
think, wow, what am I doing? Like, what's going on here? Is this really what I want to do? And just staying with it and getting through the sort of the mind babble that can often happen.
Yeah. What did you play? What was your sport?
Football. I was a
Okay.
field goal kicker. I
Oh,
played
okay.
in high
Get
school.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah, my son was a quarterback in
Oh,
college.
nice.
Yeah. So we definitely get it. I played tennis. I was a tennis
Great
and soccer
sport.
player. Yeah, I actually played two sports. Well, soccer was so brand new for women that I could get on the team like that. It was fun. It was good. Yeah, I love that you're talking about the stick to it, especially in today's environment, where it's just so challenging for loan officers. And we're seeing a lot of loan officers, drop off like flies, and
Yeah.
maybe they'll come back again. You've been around long enough to know that they come and they go and they come and they go. But those who can stick through it, the opportunities are so amazing because there are so many real estate agents, insurance companies, title companies, other partners that are being orphaned by their loan officers, right? Because and clients who close business, but now they're orphaned, right? So they're there for the taking too. And I think there's so many opportunities for that. I'm kind of interested in one of the things you didn't say, so I'm just going to ask this too, is that especially with being in scouting, I too was in scouting. I didn't go that far, but I was a Girl Scout, and I hope your kids are, right? I hope your two kids are. Um, but problem solving,
Yes.
that's huge in lending.
Yeah, just being able to think through a problem and come up with creative solutions. I mean, I can remember being in scouting, and one of the things that, like a sort of a subdivision, was called Order of the Arrow. And I don't think you can get away with it today, but they literally put us out in the woods for 24 hours by ourselves, and you had to figure it out.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
that really stuck with me, of building a shelter, looking for food, and not having communication and sort of being with your thoughts. Yeah, it really is the fact that you can problem solve and think outside the box. I think that's one of the strongest characteristics a loan officer can have,
Yeah. Yeah.
because not everything's cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 I love that. And I think, it's like fire prevention, right? I always used to say it's, my perfect loan process was really a fire prevention plan.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make sure we didn't have any problems, and if we did, we would go back in and say, okay, modify it, as a living, breathing document. Yeah, I love that. Okay. So, I imagine that you, like so many people, had their best year ever during the pandemic. But post pandemic, let's talk about what's happened. What are some of the things that you realized were not in play let me rephrase that you weren't prepared for, you hadn't formulated, right? You weren't prepared for as you went into the pandemic, but since the pandemic, what have you discovered there as well? Is because I think it's a moving target. So let me give you an example.
Yeah.
I'll rephrase this, maybe make it easier. One of the things I saw with my clients during the pandemic is they did not have their perfect loan process. Didn't have any systems put into place because at the time, they maybe before that, they were closing 3 to 5 loans a month. You can kind of all keep it in your mind and in your head, but all of a sudden you're thrust into this momentum where you're closing all these loans and you just didn't have the process. What have you discovered now that there's been a drop in business, right? And as interest rates went up, the drop of business, we have people kind of dropping off as well. What have you discovered you didn't have in play that you now need to put in play?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I would say, because the business has dropped off, as you've mentioned, with the inventory and the rates going up, I didn't stay in contact with my past clients as
Yeah.
much as I should have,
Hmm.
because so many opportunities, like during the pandemic, were coming through, and you only have so much bandwidth, so many hours in a day. And oftentimes that you're dealing with what's right in front of you, especially with dealing and working with agents. There's timelines. You're doing a lot of purchase mortgages, so things have to be done by a certain time. So I would say that I've gotten better at following up with my past clients, keeping those relationships, using them as a referral source, really important, especially as business opportunities have dwindled.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's really important. And again, it's so funny how people you did not use this word, so thank you. But so many people that I talk to say, I'm going to get back to basics. And I'm thinking, if they're basic, why do you have to get back to them?
Yeah.
Right. And but that's really what you've done, right? Is said, okay, so now I've really got to, pay attention. And I think that as I said before, this is a great opportunity because there's so many clients that are past clients of someone who's left the business and they've been orphaned, and there's so many opportunities there that, in these lull kind of times, look for the gaps in your business and start filling those gaps because now you have the time to do it. Yeah. So I love that you've done that. Okay. So let's talk about what you're doing. So we talked about past, right? Let's talk about what you're doing now and what you're planning to do in your practice, in the coming years and years coming forward. Because I know we're all waiting for, that magic day that rates will drop, and they may or may not. If you statistically look over the last 60 years, we're right in the right market. It's just a settling down. The challenge we have is, too many people have rates at 2.5%.
Yes.
And that's really our challenge. And at some point, they're going to have to tap into that equity some way or another and let it go. So what are you doing now to ensure that your future as a mortgage loan officer is secure?
Yeah. So I would say I really stepped back and said, what can I do for my agents?
Mm-hmm.
95% of my business, especially now that, there's not a lot of refi business. So most of
Right.
it's purchase business. What can I do to help my agents get more business? What can
Mm-hmm.
I do to protect their leads? What can I do just to help them? Because I do truly believe if I add value through like real value, not I close on time, I've got great rates. That's not value.
Everybody says that. That's
Everybody's
nothing.
supposed to do that, right?
Yeah, that's
It's like
expected.
it's like when you have a client tell you I paid the rent. Well, you're supposed to have paid the rent. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
and I think that one of the main things that I came across, and it was
Yeah.
sort of serendipitous, was a company called Insta Show that was really changing the game for agents. So to back up and tell you a little bit about how I came across this company, I was looking at how real estate was changing. And I was having this conversation with a good realtor friend of mine. And this is like 2.5 years ago. We were just drinking a beer, having some good time, and just sort of pontificating about this is what real estate's going to look like. Here's how it's going to change. It needs sort of a tech overview.
Yeah.
Didn't think too much about it, right? And then 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm in my hometown of where I live now, York, PA, and I'm prospecting an agent because I'm a loan officer, and that's what I do. I call up agents. We'll say, hey, let's go out to lunch. Let me tell you about what I'm doing different than your guy or girl that you're currently using. So we sit down for lunch, and I go through my typical loan officer spiel about why you should use me, and then all of a sudden he says, hey, my partner and we're both agents. We've created this app. And Jen, it was almost very similar to what I was talking to my buddy before a couple weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
my jaw dropped. I'm like, what are the odds that I met
Yeah.
this random
Right.
agent in York, PA?
Yeah.
He had come up with this app, and it was in the beginning stages. And basically, what they've done in a nutshell is they're a showing system, similar to like Showing Time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I'm
they're
familiar with that. Yeah. That came
Yeah.
across really quickly.
So I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Zillow bought Showing Time
Yeah.
for $500 million. And everybody
Wow.
was trying to figure out, why did they buy a showing system? Well, came to find out that what they're doing is they're diverting the agents' new buyer leads away from them to
Mhm.
Zillow,
Yeah.
which to me was mind boggling. Like, wait a minute, the agent showing system is taking away their own opportunities. So Insta Show's difference is they were a showing platform created by agents for agents, and they've created the first agent consumer to agent scheduling system. So what's happening is they are
Like a
actually
Calendly, right? It's like a Calendly for,
it's a complete showing system. So
yeah.
think of this the show as it's a showing system, It's a lead generation system.
Mm-hmm.
It's an access system, and it provides security.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is if you're a listing agent, the actual client is either scanning a QR code or going to the MLS, the agent or public remarks, and downloading the app. And what's happening is they are identifying the person. They're asking them to scan their license. They're running a background check. They're asking them to take a selfie. And what that's doing is making sure that this person is a good actor, that they've been background checked. And now what that does is two things that they're doing through identification. They're making sure agents never meet an unidentified person ever again at a
For
property.
safety purposes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a stat that I saw that 38% of agents felt uncomfortable at one time or another at a showing,
Yeah.
especially our female agents.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
Major problem. But when you identify, you're actually removing the bad actors because they know that you have a copy of their license. You know that they've
Right.
been background checked
Right.
and run through terrorism and money laundering and things of that nature. But what's happening is that agent is getting that verified lead. The listing agent gets a photograph of the person, it gets an email that's verified and a phone number. And one of the things that's happening is they instantly are able to schedule. So they're scheduling directly with the agent. The agent is retaining all that information, and it's stopping the lead diversion that's happening through showing time and these other platforms. Because those leads, those buyer leads that are generated from the listing should stay with the listing agent. And they're
Yeah.
worth a lot of
Yeah.
money for the
Especially
listing.
because they're in, and that was what I was going to ask you too. So these are, I'm driving around and I see a listing and I'm like, oh, I wonder what the deal is. I don't have my own buying agent. This is an Insta Show for buying agents specifically. I mean, that maybe they're going to find it and maybe they can instantly show it, but specifically directed to consumer.
Consumer. So it's a
Yeah.
listing agent product.
Yeah.
But the great thing and why as a loan officer does it work and why does it work for the agents is a few things. Number one, protecting the agent's leads. Every buyer you can save them might be worth 7 to 10 grand depending upon their
Yeah.
purchase.
Where you live. Mm-hmm.
You're protecting their safety.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. But the other thing that they've done is they built in a pre-qualification. So
Mm-hmm.
I partner with my agents. They're requiring the buyers to be pre-approved. They have
Mm-hmm.
to upload a pre-approval. So what does that mean? If they have a local pre-approval from their local bank, great. But when they don't, what's happening is I'm able to go and pre-approve those buyers for my agents right away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a great flow of business,
Yeah.
helping to reduce the tire kicking that goes on, people touring, the nosy neighbor. So being able to get them pre-approved, being able to get my listing agent that lead and retain that lead and stop the lead diversion has been a game changer.
Yeah. So what happens when they have, and then I'm going to ask you some other questions about
Sure.
working with listing agents, because that was one of my big sources of income as a
Yes.
lender. And it's amazing because so many loan officers and those that I'm coaching, right? They're always talking about the buying agents, the buying agents, the buying agents. I said, oh my God, you're missing so many
Yes.
opportunities, right? Because I mean, that was where I only worked with 4 agents, by the way.
That's it.
To do $100 million, right? I only work with 4 because I don't need all of them. I just need loyal, right? A handful of loyal, and the rest were all financial planners and whatnot. But the thing is here is that if the consumer comes in with a pre-approval from another lender, in my opinion, I don't really care. I think they need a second opinion. So I'm going to say, well,
Right.
would you like a second opinion? And, did they tell you, I've known for this, by the way, over however many podcasts I've done over 14 years, I've known for this phrase of, hey, did you hear about the Super Saver 25? And the client goes, what? I have no idea what you're talking about. And all it is a 25-year term, but I just make it sound different than the guy that they just talked to.
That makes
Right?
sense. Just telling them something different, getting a second opinion.
Yeah, getting a second
Yeah.
opinion. So in this process, does that circumvent you? For someone who's listening and they say, "Oh, this kind of sounds cool." Does that circumvent and you're not in it because they have a pre-approval from someone else, or do you get the opportunity to get a shot at it?
Yeah, so I see, because I'm partnering with my agent, I'm seeing that person and I'm seeing that they uploaded a pre-approval. So that's still an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And you really nailed it, is working with the listing agents, because every agent really wants to be a listing agent, because the listing agent becomes
It's
the
easier.
listings bring the buyers.
Yeah,
And that
it's
and
easy.
then and that's what you want, are the buyers.
Right,
So it
right.
gives me an opportunity to do second opinions, but it also, because of their identifying, InstaShow's identifying the buyer, they're also doing two things, which I think is pretty unique. Number one, I'm sure you're familiar with all the NAR compliance that's going on.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
They automated the touring agreement in their
yeah,
app.
yeah.
So the agent typically, if somebody wants to see a listing, they have to sign this agreement. They have to go back and
And they got
forth.
them.
It's a whole to do.
Got them. Yeah.
The person identifies themselves. The
Hmm.
touring agreement pops up, basically says, hey, NAR requires this agreement. It's a no fee agreement to see the house. They sign it in the app. The agent's NAR compliant. They didn't have to
Right.
go through a song and dance. So reducing the friction to go to that property is huge. And that's
Yeah.
really important. You want to, it's speed. And it's also, the
Mhm.
agent knows if that buyer is represented or not, because in the app they're asking that. And an unrepresented buyer that's touring is the hottest buyer on the planet. They are
Yeah.
somebody that's serious. They want to purchase. They're not in their pajamas thinking about a
Right.
home.
Right. Looking online. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
I love it.
hottest lead. So this
Yeah.
system, because they are an access and scheduling system and an identification system, they're generating the hottest leads in the market of
Yeah.
somebody who's serious, who's going to buy in the next probably 30
Yeah.
to 90 days.
Yeah. Well, I just want to expand on this. Just, one of the things that I did with one of my agents is, how when you go to a builder and you get all the discounts, when you get two or three, you have to talk to two or three of their five people. I actually have a client right now who gets a great loan officer. She gets 180 referrals a month, right, from her builder. And she's one of five. One of five builders I'm sorry, one of five lenders that this builder has. And the builder requires that you get three pre-approvals from their preferred lenders. So what we did with my listing agents is we said, hey, tell them that they have to get a pre-approval with me. Because right, and they're saying the same
Yeah.
thing. Hey, buying agent, you can bring your client with their pre-approval, but I've learned my lessons. And what I've learned is that I want my trusted, loyal lender to also do a pre-approval before I
Exactly.
accept any contract. And we instituted that for her, and it was fantastic. And we did it for a multitude of reasons that I won't go into now, but it was absolutely fantastic because here's what I found. And so I'm suggesting that for everybody, right? I'm saying, hey, that's really cool, and let's try something else. The thing that I discovered was that there was a veteran who was the buying agent had sent them to a lender. That lender did not offer VA loans. They were a credit union. They didn't offer VA loans. And so they sold this client on a bill of goods that they had to put 5% down and do a conventional loan.
So they had to pay the mortgage insurance. They didn't get the benefits of being a veteran.
Of
That's
course, we know
that's
all of
sinful.
that. We know all of that, right? So me saying, hey, are you a veteran? And just making that part of my discussion, right? Are you a veteran? Oh, I happen. Yeah, I am. And how come you're not getting a veteran loan over there? Well, they didn't offer it to me. That's a disservice to the community.
Absolutely. You've got to ask questions. If you just ask questions, like, so much gets uncovered, and then you're able to offer better solutions. It's interesting that you mentioned builders.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've been able to do with my agents is I've been able to have them tap into two markets really with InstaShow. Really three. If you take their normal listings, they're getting the benefits of that, protecting their leads. But they've been able to open up the builder and for sale by owner markets.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
For sale by owner. Definitely.
yes.
Yeah.
So this is what my agents are doing. They're
Yeah.
going to a for sale by owner. obviously the for sale by owner doesn't want to use an agent, right? Because of obvious reasons, they don't want to pay commission.
Which is hilarious because we all have equity right now. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't get it, but okay. You know?
They will call the for
Yeah.
sale by owner, and basically
Yeah.
their pitch is this. It's, hey, Mr. Seller, notice you're trying to sell your house on your own. Fantastic. Completely understand. What I want to do is help you as a lender sell your house on your own. I'm going to
Yeah.
give you the showing system completely for free. Why
Mhm.
would I do that?
Because I'm
Number
getting
one,
leads.
it's going to be a scheduling system.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to
Bet.
identify who's touring your property, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're also going to make sure that they're pre-approved because you don't want tire kickers coming through.
That's right.
And why can I give you the system for free? What's in it for me as a loan officer, right?
Mhm.
So what's in it for me is you're going to have probably 10, 15 people walk through your home. And there's only going to be one person that's going to buy that house. That's it.
Mhm.
I can help them make sure they're pre-approved, but the other 10 the 14 people that walk through also want to buy. Your house just wasn't a good fit. There's value in me working with them. So that's the reason why I can give you the system for free,
Yeah.
because I can help them, and that's how I make my commission. I don't need to make any money from you. I'm going to give you this system.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a great way to break into the for sale by owner market with a completely different pitch. You can pre-approve buyers. You can find out if they're working with an agent. You can give them to the agent. So you're actually controlling, as a loan officer, the
Yeah.
buyers. You can hand them out directly to your
Yeah.
agents. And it's just an unbelievable
And send
market.
them to three.
Yeah. I'm the three.
I love when I can send. Oh, by the way, I've sent this client to three people, just so you know. And they're like, "Oh my God, what?" No, well, you do it, so can I do it? It's funny. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. And it's, we've heard so many horror stories about Facebook Marketplace, about Craigslist and the sales, and this is a great way for security of their home and vetting them as well. And I think it's a great avenue. So yeah, I mean, you'd have to be looking for FISBOs to see if that's something you want to, play
Right.
in. I haven't seen any around where I live, but it's just market by market. But I
Yeah.
love that piece of it. Yeah. So what else are you doing with listing agents? Is there something else you're doing that is outside of Insta Show? What have you
Yeah.
found, that, hey, I can help them in some other ways too?
Just supporting them, going to their open houses,
Hmm.
being there for them. I think that's a thing that got lost with,
Oh, I
when
did.
the market was hot, is just going old school, just going to the open
Right.
houses, being
Yeah.
there to support, being there to answer questions, bringing, whatever, water, gee gods, whatever it is to help support them. I think that's one thing that I've taken on, when the market's changed, along with staying in better contact with past clients, is go to open houses, show up,
Yeah.
be supportive. There's buyers there. You're going to meet the listing agent. If you know the listing agent, you're supporting them. I think that is a tool that's pretty easy to adapt. Like,
Yeah.
I always weigh things heavy and light. Like, that's pretty light to do, is just show up at an
Yeah.
open house.
It definitely is. And I think, I'm going to spill the beans a little bit on some of what I provide for some of my coaching clients is, that again, I'm going to go back to the fact that people have been orphaned. And so, no assumptions. If you have a real estate agent that's left the office because they're no longer doing business, they may still have their license for some referrals one day, but they're pretty much gone, is who's serving those clients? Who is serving those clients that you've closed business with as a realtor? And if you aren't serving them because you're just now in the referral business, if you're just in that piece of it, how can your agent get access to that agent's database to be able to serve them? And that opens up opportunities for you as well, because now these are I don't call them past clients. Everyone who's ever listened to this podcast knows I never call anybody a past client. They're alumni, because alumni come back and they tell everybody about you, right? And so we want to create all of these alumni opportunities so that we can do annual reviews and we can manage their mortgage. And when the time is right and they pull that trigger, now we're top of mind. And that's a whole area that's not even being addressed. Um, and I think the other thing too is when this is another sneaky thing I'm going to tell you. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just sneaky. And we did this a lot. If you have an agent who wants to farm, let's just use that word, wants to farm an area and so has it locked up, let's unlock it. Right. So the minute that somebody does a listing, so let's just say Bob does a listing and Susie wants to do listings in that neighborhood because she happens to live there. She can't even get listings in her own neighborhood. That happens all the time, right? But she wants to do listings in that neighborhood. As soon as that listing comes up, you do the 10, 10, 20, 20 rule, right? 10 houses to the right, 10 to the left, 20 in front, 20 behind. And you market to those because those people are seeing that sign and going, wonder if I should buy. I wonder if I should do, right? If I should sell. And so we do what's called a forever home campaign. Are you in your forever home? And it might be managing the mortgage. It might be refinancing. It might be a HELOC. It might be a second mortgage, right? It might be get me out of this arm I got. It might be, nope, I'm happy. I've been orphaned. Can you help me? And that happens on both the lending and the real estate side, giving them timely updates on what trends are happening in properties by the realtor. So there's all kinds of things, and I just tapped the surface. I think I've got 17 things you can do with a listing agent.
That,
That's just tapping the surface.
17. Wow.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I love that you're talking about Insta Show. I know that you've got a link for everybody so they can go look at it. We'll put that in the show notes and everything. But there's so much more that's untapped in working with listing agents. And so I would say cease and desist working with buying agents. Don't even try. And that's how we rolled. We had a few buying agents, but not many.
Yeah. The listing
And,
agent are where
and I
it's at.
love catching listing agents off guard because they go to school because I used to teach. I used to teach the class. I'm trying to think what the name of it was, but I used to teach the finance class for new agents to get their license for the state. And I swear they were told, I already have a lender. What are your rates?
Yeah.
I'm a listing agent.
I'm a listing.
Right? Hey, when a loan officer approaches you, just say those three things and they'll walk away with their tail between their legs. So I was like, well, how do I go after an objection? If they're going to say they already have a lender, how do I'm ready. If they say, what are your rates? I go, hey, do you have a buyer? Because then I'll talk to you about the rates. And the third was, I'm a listing agent. I go, oh, great. I've been looking for listing agents. And you wouldn't believe how many people were like, what do I say now? They didn't tell me to say the second thing. Right. And so we just went after that wholeheartedly. So I just encourage you and everybody else who's listening, go after listing agents. They're going to be the first ones to pop. When the house goes on the market, that brings the buyers.
Yep. That's
Not the other way around.
nailed it. And especially with the consumer's gotten very savvy and they're going directly to the listing agent.
Yeah.
A lot of times too.
Yeah.
They know that. And so that means the buyer agents are getting less opportunities and the listing agents are getting more buyer opportunities. So,
and that's good for them. They want it that way.
yeah.
But we need to help them see that other side because they're just not versed enough to see it. Okay. So what's your take on the market? This is the last question I'm going to ask you. Oh, I'm going to ask you another question too, but what's your take on the market? What's your take on what's happening?
So where I'm at, and it's interesting talking to other people in different states, there is barely any inventory whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I don't see that changing for probably a year to a year and a half. I don't think I think they'll come down, but I think it's going to take 12 to 18 months. And if I were to bet it, I would have thought they've come down already, but they haven't, obviously. So I think we're 12 to 18 months away, especially in my area, from seeing rates come down, seeing more inventory. And you brought this up before that it's tough when somebody's in a 2.5% mortgage or a 3% or even a 4%. Nobody's waking up and saying, I want to move. There's a reason they're moving. Because they're not going to leave that home that has a fantastic rate to potentially go into a rate that's 6.5, 7, 7.25, whatever the rates are at that given day.
Yeah.
So there's a main reason they're moving, but I see it, especially in my area, it's going to take a while for the inventory to loosen up. rates coming down will be good, but that's going to drive even more buyers.
Yeah.
For us, it's an inventory issue.
Yeah. No question. Yeah, no question. I think, I always say be ready for when the when happens. And when the when happens, you don't ever want to be in a position where, thank God, like in the pandemic, people go, oh, I had the best year. And I said, well, the market gave it to you.
Yeah.
Thank God it did. And thank God you had people calling you. But how many people, how much money was left on the table because you didn't have a system to call them?
Yeah.
You didn't have a conversation with your alumni clients to say, hey, look, when rates go to here, I'm going to call you and you
Yeah.
better be ready, right? When they go to here and you're ready to make that move, we need to be ready for when happens, instead of going, hey, where's my database? I got to run a thing. I got to figure this out. I got to find their phone number. The time is going to go. And we all know this. When rates drop, they tend to, if they have a moment, right, they tend to drop for 20 minutes. And then the news tells about it the next day. And then you get all the phone calls and everybody's lost. Right? I mean, it's really what happens. So be ready for when the when happens. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I love that you're saying that too. So what are you reading right now for personal development to keep you sharp?
Personal development. Listening to some podcasts.
I hope you're listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery.
Of course, number one on the list. You and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I try to. I love YouTube, so
Yeah.
I'll go on and learn about some just techniques, calling
Mhm.
techniques, selling techniques. Maybe
Awesome.
not sitting down and reading a 300-page book, but saying, "Hey, I want to get
Reading
better at
snippets.
this."
Yeah.
Snippets.
Snippets. Yeah.
Maybe I'm at the gym, I'm on the treadmill, and instead of just watching some nonsense, is, hey, let me learn about a calling technique. So I would
Yeah.
say that I really love video and YouTube. Uh, Book wise, it's more to escape from daily life. It's more fiction, mystery,
Yeah.
thriller. But
Yeah.
personal development is more video.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah. The fact that you're doing it is fantastic. And that's
yeah,
that's something, the reason I'm sharing it is in order to be a top producer and having sustaining, a life in this industry, right? And have this sustainability for a long time, you have to always be improving. And so listen in if you're not, this is your first time listening or you've listened 1,000 times, because we've got over 1,000 episodes. You've listened for 1,000 times that, even 10 minutes, how they say like 7-minute abs. Remember
yep.
that?
Oh, yeah.
7 minutes, like just 7 minutes a day, right?
Yes. Don't need
Doing
much. You're
something,
right.
yeah, that will improve who you are yesterday, right? From yesterday. I love that. Yeah. It doesn't matter what the consumption is. I happen to read 3 books a week because I love reading. Um, but and I listen to podcasts, obviously, because that's how I find people and whatever. But I love reading books. But I think whatever medium it is for you, the important thing is to read. I mean, is to consume information that will help you from a personal development perspective. And I love that. So yeah, thank you. And learning about the markets, right?
Yeah. Going
Learning
to
about the
networking
market.
functions too. I probably go to
Yeah.
4 to 5 a month, and there's always an educational component to
Yeah.
the ones that I try to attend.
Yeah.
And that's always interesting to learn maybe something I didn't know about or just a different way to do something. So you get the benefits of networking, but also getting education. And it's just like anything, you put it in the calendar, you're going, and that time's carved out for some personal development. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another thing I'd say that I've been doing is just getting back to networking functions and looking for the ones with the right fit.
Yeah, yeah. And that's so important, right? Again, that's getting ready for the ready to happen. I love it. Okay, so we're going to have a link for Insta Show. As you've been listening to this today, if this is something you're going, hey, I really think I need to go look at that, you're helping and
Yes.
supporting Randy's, real estate agents who put this together. So, it's staying in the community. I love that. But if that's something that you think would be just, life changing for your practice, a great way for you to step into working with listing agents. If you're not doing it now, then make sure you scroll down and get that link and take a look at it and see if it's something that will work for you and how to introduce it. Are they providing, I just have one other question. Are they
Sure.
providing some concierge onboarding
Oh yeah.
sales? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that you know how you can approach people. So
Absolutely.
you're not out there doing it by yourself.
Oh, very simple. Again, ways to, if you're working with agents, you're able to protect their leads, protect their safety, and really protect their time. So if
Yeah.
that's important, and that's a value add. And the fact that you can have them tap into other markets and help them with the for sale by owners and the builder market, there's a component too that we really didn't get into is you can help builders sell their model homes faster by driving more traffic through. So
Yeah.
it's just a great and different
And the
way.
right traffic, right? I mean, that's the
Yes.
other thing too, because there are a lot of looky-loos out there. And that's one of the things that my client is dealing with is 180 leads. It sounds fun until over half of them are not qualified, don't respond, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And this is
Cozy
a great
neighbor,
way.
right? Just wanting to
Yeah.
go through.
Yeah. And, I also know that Insta Show, speaks to landlords. So, for those of you that are listening in and you are real estate investors or my clients who are real estate investors and I'm coaching you on this, don't forget that this is an opportunity for you as well, because this is also for landlords.
Yes. And
So
property managers too.
yeah, and property managers and things like that. So, this is just another tool for you. And especially, oh gosh, yeah, I just, there's so many angles you could go as a real estate investor. So I love that piece. And hey, if you're a loan officer listening, go after real estate investors. Those are people that need this program and they need you. Most of my business was investor real estate, investor loans. That was my specialty because it's what I do personally.
Right.
And that was a big chunk of my business as well. So that's another avenue. And boy, are they all sitting on the edge right now. They're just waiting to strike,
Yes.
waiting to strike. So now would be a great time to go after them. So thank you. Any parting thoughts? Thinking back on your Eagle Scout days, your scouting days, or thinking about, maybe something your coach said. Do you have a quote you'd like to leave with us, a mantra that you live by?
I would say, I think it was Thomas Edison that said, the genius of sticking with it.
Mm.
And
Yeah, you've
I
talked
think a
about
lot of people, you just have to stick with it and don't try to be everything to everybody. Don't drown in opportunity. Is find out what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and just stick with it and be the best at just a few things. You don't need to be the best at everything, but
Mhm.
take the extra steps and really master whatever that niche is and whatever really talks to you and you're passionate about. Because if you're not passionate, it's going to come through. And that would be my advice.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I mean, they'll know.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
They're gonna know. They're definitely gonna know. I love it. Thank you so much again, Randy, for being with us today. I hope that this was exciting for you. It was
Oh yeah. Keep
interesting
up the
to
great work. I love it.
listen back and forth. And again, I want to thank you for being here today and taking time out of your busy day. And I thank you again for all the beautiful comments. I get all these wonderful texts from people all the time and instant messaging, and I encourage you to continue to do that. I want to hear, what are you getting from listening to this podcast? And hop on over to YouTube. Make sure that you're subscribing to my YouTube channel, because it's not just Mortgage Lending Mastery, but my other podcasts and my TV show and me speaking at different events. I have a speaking playlist in there as well. So you can just learn what I may not be talking about on this one, but I might be talking about on another one. And I appreciate you listening to us week after week. So take the action, go look at Insta Show, take the action, start talking to listing agents, and stick with it, as Randy has said. So thank you, Randy, for being my guest
My
today.
pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining Mortgage Lending Mastery. If you found value in today's conversation and would like to get support, simply go to supportfromjen.com. That's supportfromjen.com. Or reach out to me on social media. Keep watching and listening for more insider secrets, stories, strategies, and ideas to help you become a master in your business.